Hello, Mark. You are a busy guy. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Congratulations on everything. My God, I was just chatting and I said, you are a very smart man, my friend, because you surround yourself with some pretty good people. Have
Yep.
you pinched yourself thinking about some of the people you've worked with in this business?
I'm covered in bruises. Uh, I am littered and riddled with bruises. Yes, my God, I've been so fortunate. But that's what I aspired to. I was like, these are the people I want to work with. These are the kinds of people I want to be around. And it takes luck and mostly it's preparation, right? Like
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
and then also just kind of willing that to be. Like you're like I have strict guidelines on not just who I work with, who I hang out with. It means everything to me. It's like 'cause that influences every day of your life.
Yeah.
So I feel very fortunate, but it's also somewhat by design.
Hey, it's got to be, but look, good on you because there's some really great people. And congratulations on The Righteous because directorial debut, feature film. Wow, this one packs a punch. So my first question is, are you a religious man?
Not, I never really considered myself like that. I just thought it was a good. I grew up Roman Catholic school and stuff like that, so there was a foundation and stuff like that for it.
Yeah,
But it was a great backdrop for a movie because the stakes are so high when it comes to a person of God to have feel like they aren't even with God is
right.
immediately interesting to me. It's immediately impactful and the stakes are so high and so dramatic that I just thought it was a great backdrop for a movie. And like there are rules within Catholicism stuff. So I was like, wow, how about I use that? And the idea of God is really your own idea of it, and your own
For
idea of
sure.
whole and whatever is very subjective, and it's up to you. So and that's kind of what the movie's about. But then it actually ends up being about much more than that. That's sort of just like the foundation for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I just wanted to know like the backstory of how you actually sat down and wrote this story, kind of like what influenced it.
Well, I just close my eyes and press the keys and see what happens.
Oh,
Um,
and voila,
and
voila, a script appeared.
it's just like that. 90 minutes later. Um, I'm influenced by. I watch a movie every single day, so I'm influenced by so many directors. Like it's insane. How many movies I watch. So those people become part of who you are.
Yes,
But
yes.
I always think like, what's the worst thing that could happen to someone in a movie? What's the worst thing that could happen to your protagonist? And I think when you do that, but you peel away the layers of it, like that's what I want to do with this is peel away layers of a character so that it's not just, oh, he wants this thing and how's he going to get it. It's actually really tough writing a movie where the protagonist doesn't particularly want a tangible goal.
Right.
So but that's fascinating to me. I like movies like that where you're like, I just don't know what this is. I don't know how to classify it. And
Mhm.
then the movie, that's just my personal taste. And then the movie just kind of took shape from there. I had an original conceit for something way different that was much more supernatural. And then it just morphs into something like, a lot of like, some songs, they might start as a love song. And by the end of it, it's like, the screaming and yelling and it's a whole other thing. So it changes and it evolves, which is the joy of it, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And your cast is not too shabby. First, let's start with Henry Turney, who I love. Like, man, I go way back with Henry. Well, and Mimi, I mean, both of them, like two of Canada's best. I mean, come on, seriously. But Henry obviously not only had you worked with him before, but if you look back in his career, he's played a priest. So when you wrote this, like, were you thinking that?
Not when I was writing it, but when it came time to ask Henry to do it, um, I was like, man, he played a priest set in Newfoundland before. That's
Yeah.
great. So the meta nature of it was very, very appealing to me and made me giddy. Uh, and that movie was a big deal for him, and it's one of the best performances I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And he is just the greatest. He's the greatest. I just love him as a person, as an actor. And I was like, I want to be around him because I like
Mhm.
good. We were good friends at the time anyway. And I was like, and I want to see what he's going to do to this role because he's
Right.
bring something to it that I don't know what's going to be. And if I just cast exactly like the typical person who this might be on paper, that's not adding anything to the movie. That's not giving the organism, nutrients. That's just giving just the bare minimum. So I knew he was going to bring something special to it, and he did. And same with Mimi. Mimi, I did write it with her in mind. And
Huh.
there's so much to Mimi. Mimi always seems like she's thinking something else while she's talking to you. And I thought that was really interesting because I feel like she's aware that there's something with Frederick that she doesn't want to face. And the
Right.
whole movie is about confronting, really, and like confronting your own inner demons. And I just felt like she had that so well. And there's a classic gothic look to her in a way.
Yes, I agree. She does have that kind of, and well, the black and white helps too, right?
Does help. And I loved her. I always envisioned the character with like Frankenstein wife hair, which she has in the movie, which was her idea, which I didn't tell her. I was like, man, that's so weird. That's exactly how I pictured your hair. Um,
Amazing.
so everything about her just clicked for it. And sometimes it's hard to put it into words, but really one thing I know for sure is I like to be surrounded around, like we were saying earlier, around people who I like being around, who
Yeah.
are talented and are professional, and they'll do the work. It doesn't matter if they're right for the role. I don't like when people are like, oh, that actor's not really right for the part. I'm like, a good actor can make any part great.
Right. But you've been working for a long time. I mean, and clearly, I mean, obviously there's directors you probably took some, of their influence that you've worked with over there's when you're working though with such veterans like Henry, like Mimi, like, Kevin Bacon, Courtney Vance, like, can I go on? Matthew Rhys, like these people have been, they working for a while. What do you gleam off of them? What do you learn from these veterans? Are you like a sponge when you're around these people?
Yes, I am, absolutely. So there's two kind of opposing things that come to mind as you say that. And one is never-ending professionalism with those guys. These some of these actors we're talking about, a lot of the actors you just mentioned are 60 plus.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
60 plus, and I'm 38. So they're 25 years older than me, a lot of these people, and more. And they don't get tired on set. They don't complain. We're doing another setup. They don't, their stamina is amazing. And really that's professional stamina. It's like, no, we're here to do the job. And everyone you just mentioned and more, Kevin Bacon, Hugh Jackman, all these leaders I've worked with are all Clive Owen, same thing. No
Yeah.
complaints. Let's do the job. And not that I hear complaining all the time, but the biggest complaints I hear on set are younger actors normally. So it's like they're pro. And the other thing I learned from them that's almost seems like it's in opposition to, not a compliment, but into adoration. But it's that they're just actors just like me.
Yeah.
So they all got their process. They all have trouble with lines once in a while. They all walk away, didn't think they were great every single time. And you're like, oh, they're just human. They're the same thing. So it makes you believe I can do this too. And that's how I became an actor. I come from a small town outside of St. John's where we had no money and no one in the business. I have no business being a Hollywood actor, quote unquote. But it was just through, I think I can do that.
Oh,
Sure.
you have business. Excuse me. Stop being so humble. You worked hard. You worked hard and you do a good job. So don't say that.
Okay, well, thank you very much. But it does make you just think like, yeah, why can't I just do that?
Yeah.
Sure. So let's just do it. And
Yeah.
instead of thinking about it. And I think a lot of artists think too much. Don't think about it. Just go do it. Just do it. You want to write a script, you want to make a movie, write a script. Like it's really that simple.
Yeah.
And you can act, it's tough because we get rejected a lot. Go to an acting class, act every single day. Act at home, create your own movie on your phone. Like there's a way to just do it. So just do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you walk, you have so many great memorable roles. When you walk down the street, especially Republic of Doyle, I mean, come on, it's huge, and people can catch it on streaming and start new fans and all this. That's what's so amazing about streaming services. Do you ever walk down the street and somebody goes, "I know you from," do you ever get that?
Uh, yes, quite often. In Canada, there's still a lot of Doyle love.
Yes.
In the States, it's normally City on a Hill, the Showtime series I did with Kevin Bacon, or
Yeah.
Ready or Not, or Halt and Catch
A
Fire.
Halt and Catch Fire. Oh God, I mean,
Yeah,
amazing show. Yeah.
a lot of that. But I'll tell you something really interesting. So I was offered a movie not long ago, and I was in Chicago shooting 61st Street, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it or not, and I knew it wasn't great. Like it did. I don't know if it was great. Who cares? I don't know if it appealed to me as much. I was
Okay.
walking the street in Chicago, and I was like, "Do I want to do it?" Like, but I would like to work again after this. When I was done the job, it would have been. And I was like, "Oh well, I'm not sure." And then I walk, and I don't want to. I'm very particular about what I do. And so I was walking down the street, and this guy stopped me. He said, "Hey, are you on a Showtime series?" I said, "Yeah, City on a Hill." He's like, "Oh, cool." Like, very complimentary. I was like, "Oh, thanks so much." Then as I walked away, he was like, "What? Were you also on *Halt and Catch Fire*?" And I said, "Oh, I was actually, yeah." And he was like, "Oh, I love the show." It was very complimentary. I said, "Thank you so much, very sweet." And then I went to walk away, and he said, "Hey, you pick really good, you make really good choices."
See, that's what I said at the beginning. Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And like, I'm lucky to get the job all the time, but I won't do something I don't think is good. And it was so interesting seeing that person. I was like, are you an angel? Like, where did you come from? And it informed that decision. And I was like, wow, like that's so cool.
Yeah.
That happened. And it was also validating too, right? Because it's a tough friggin' business. So for someone to
Yeah.
say that, you're like, oh, maybe I am doing the right things.
Well, you have been doing the right things. And just to wrap it up, I have to mention Perry Mason. I know you're shooting season 2. I loved season 1. I thought it was amazingly well done show. Matthew was great. I didn't know where this is. That's a hard character to take on. I mean, the beloved Raymond Burr. I mean, come on, seriously, right? But just can you give me a little tease as to who you play or what's going on with your character?
I play the prosecuting attorney to him being the defense attorney. So we are enemies.
Oh, we got some head butting.
We are enemies. When I come into set now, because we're filming now, right this second, you're on camera. No, when we're filming,
I'll be the jury. I'll be the jury. Yeah.
It's a big jury. It's a lot of people. It's like 200 people every day. And sometimes when I come in now, Matthew will be like, "Oh, Mark, just hug. Let's just hug," because we hate each other so much in every scene.
Yeah,
So
I
I
love
get
it.
so much. And if you like season 1, you're gonna like season 2. It's really.
Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Well, maybe we can talk again for that. But thank you so much for your time today, Mark. Congratulations on the film. You really did a great job. I mean, acting, writing, directing. Is there anything you cannot do?
I can't sing. I'll tell you that much. You don't want to hear it.
All right. All right. So I'll let the Mervishes know that you're not going to be doing their next musical, right?
I would appreciate that. They gotta stop hounding me.
Okay. Mark, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Bonnie, take care.
Take care. Okay. Bye-bye.